So it's been exactly 1 week since I picked up the iPhone 14 Pro and I'm still on the fence whether I should stick with this phone or return it and just go back to the 13 Pro, which is in many ways very similar. So hey guys, Vic here with PhoneArena, and the 14 Pro has been a bit of a mixed bag for me. I was really hyped up about this phone after the Apple event, but before I tell you more and we jump into the video, quick thanks to our friends from iBlazeOn for sponsoring it. So the more I've used the iPhone 14 Pro, the more I feel like some of the initial hype around things like the dynamic island has kind of worn off. Now the dynamic island sure is a great idea and it's useful, a neat little feature, but I don't think it changes anything significantly in the way I use my phone. I would rather have it than not, yes, but I don't think I would miss it much either. Now I have to say that the one thing I did not expect to see and that actually surprised me on the 14 Pro is what seems to be more fluid performance than the 13 Pro. Now this is not based on any scientific benchmark, so it's just my personal use experience, but the 14 Pro does feel just extra smooth. Animations are a bit more buttery and switching between apps feels faster than on the 13 Pro. Now I don't know if that has something to do with this being a brand new phone, and I really wish I could somehow test this and give you an exact measurement of how much faster this all feels, but so far it's just my personal experience, take it for what it's worth. Now, of course, you can look at the benchmarks and crunch those numbers, and we have done that. In the Geekbench CPU test, the 14 Pro gets about 9% better single-core results and about 14% faster multi-core performance, but I doubt these numbers alone will tell you all that much. Now, one number that is helpful though is for gaming. In the 3D Mark test, you can see the initial burst of performance on the 14 Pro, but then it throttles, and actually for sustained gaming sessions, you're getting essentially the same GPU speeds as the 13 Pro. Alright, the next thing that still keeps me on the fence about this new iPhone is photography. Now, I think there are two kinds of people out there. Some who like to edit and tweak every single photo they take, and others who just want to take a picture and forget about it. And I am definitely in the second camp. I like easy. But this new 48 megapixel camera is such a huge improvement. And yes, to shoot 48 megapixels you need to use ProRAW, so it shoots raw files, so you have to edit them, so it is a bit of a hassle, which I hate, but those results are worth it. So the easiest way I found to kind of get done with the editing part as soon as possible is to just use an app like VSCO or Lightroom. Just import the raw photos there and immediately export to JPEG files that are much smaller and that you can actually share with real people. But it would have been really nice if Apple offered some sort of built-in RAW to JPEG conversion right in the Photos app for these 48 megapixel pictures, so we don't have to go through all that hassle. And just take a look at those details, it's just a night and day difference in the photos. Alright, another reason to stick with this phone is again a camera reason, and it's the new old 2x camera mode, and more specifically the support for 2x portrait mode. So looking back on maybe 5 years of my backed up photos, an overwhelming majority of my favorite shots were captured on a 2x lens or a 50mm lens in portrait mode. Overwhelming majority. The standard 1x lens is great for landscapes, but when you photograph people, you want something that gets closer, and 2x is just the perfect focusing distance. And fun fact, 50mm focal length is the closest to the way we perceive the world as humans, so it kind of looks most natural to the eye. So these are the two things that really have me hooked on the new 14 Pro camera. Just regular photos still look very good, also very similar to the previous phone, but I would argue that Apple this time used a ton of excessive sharpening that just kind of looks bad when you look at the detail up close, and I wish there was a way to turn it down. I do prefer the softer detail from the previous generation. Alright, another new thing I've always enjoyed having is the always-on display. So I haven't measured this yet, but I've seen numbers saying additional battery drain with the always-on display is around 5% per day, which I can definitely live with. But to me this works great in combination with the new lock screen widgets. So I have the temperature, the wind speed and the battery charge on widgets, and it's just great to see all of that in a single glance. At the same time though, I will echo some other reviewers saying that this always on display is a bit too bright and kind of distracting when the phone is just lying on the side of the table. I wish there was a way to customize this to be a bit less distracting, maybe with notifications less prominent or an even darker option, or why not even a full-on black screen. Also, on the topic of customization, I really love these new lock screen widgets that I just mentioned. They're truly incredibly useful, and while the dynamic island gets all the press, I think it's those widgets that deserve a lot more credit. Why only 4? This is a huge limitation. Apple should add at least one more row of widgets. They're just too good to be limited to just 4 individual small-sized widgets. And yeah, we need more space for lock screen widgets, Apple. Make it happen. Alright, let's quickly run through all the rest of the new stuff. Under the hood you get the new Qualcomm X65 modem. This brings big improvements in 5G speeds in some markets and slightly better signal reception, which I have not tested yet. But the loudspeakers, they sound great. Very similar to the 13 Pro, but maybe just a tiny bit louder, and these are still some of the best speakers on a smartphone. The screen brightness. Yes, the 14 Pro gets super bright outdoors. It's not something you really appreciate until you look at an older phone and notice how much dimmer that is. Another thing, Magsafe still here. Charging speeds still nowhere nearly as fast as the competition. It takes about 2 full hours for a 100% charge, and about 30 minutes of charging gives you a 50% top up. And just the weight and the size, I again have mixed feelings. First, I don't know why on earth there are so few top-tier Android phones with a compact size. But having this size is definitely nice, and I really appreciate Apple for making this. I still have some issues with the weight. I do wish this phone was a bit lighter, but it is what it is. And whether you have the new iPhone or not, you need proper protection for your device. And this is where our video sponsor Subcase comes in. Their UB Pro Mag case features a rugged, shock-absorbing design which offers incredible protection. And as you can tell by the name, the case is MagSafe compatible. And here is how strong these magnets inside are. That is very reassuring. The UB Pro Mag case also has a kickstand, which is perfect for those times when you just want to relax and watch some videos on your phone. And check this out, it also doubles as a ring holder and just pops back in when you don't need it. So we love that the case comes with a built-in screen protector as well that prevents scratches and cracks with no compromise to touch sensitivity. And also you have a belt clip holster that can rotate 360 degrees for your convenience. And now is the perfect moment to get this case. Subcase is running a 25% off hero discount for teachers, students, military, first responders and healthcare workers. Check out the link below for all the details and get yourself the UB Pro Mag case right now, or just type iPhone 14 case by Subcase in Amazon to explore all the cases the company offers and pick the one you like best. So back to the 14 Pro, should I keep it or should I return it? I'll still think about it, but let me know what's your mileage with this new 14 Pro. Did you get one? What do you think about the dynamic island, 48 megapixel photos and all the new features? Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed watching. Thanks for sticking until the end. My name is Vic. I'll catch you guys around.